Hi, I'm Milton Rendell and welcome to Real News Friday. Another big week in terms of sales, 1,007 sales, down about 4% of where it was the previous week, but still great activity. The main one to that is land sales is probably the one that fluctuates the most that we're seeing in different patterns. The land sales were down 47% last week, so obviously that's impacted us some. Stock levels are 9,266, down about 1%. That's still up about 2% on 4 weeks ago and down about 3% on what we were a year ago. So this seems to be in and around the figure that we're sitting at currently, in this sort of 9,000, which seems to be the healthy figure at the minute, although buyers out there wouldn't say it's a healthy figure because they're all still looking for buyers. We are still seeing great activity around our home opens, and in all our suburbs. The hills certainly have seen plenty of activity, but we have seen an incredible amount of increased activity in and around the Midland, Middle Swan, Swan View, Greenmount and the Helena Valley areas. And inquiry for those areas is well up and some of the highest we've seen for some time. So if you are thinking about something, we'd love to have a chat to you. In terms of rentals, 2,253 on the market. That's down about 2% on a week ago. That's down 26% on a year ago. So obviously still the activity is still pretty strong. 707 properties leased last year. Now going to 2022, and I've sort of talked the last couple of weeks, it looks like we'll probably have an election aiming in around May, so we may see some sort of things change. Our Premier's now announced the opening of the borders, so we'll see what that does in terms of a tidal flow into West Australia. I don't think it'll impact us immediately. I think it'll be a long-term thing. As I've said before, West Australia hasn't got any closer to anywhere else, but has been identified as one of the better lifestyles. Now, in terms of what's happening within Australia, first home buyer activity is strongest in West Australia, higher than any other state, and Victoria coming second. South Australia's had a decline on that sort of stuff. But we certainly seem to be one of the most active in the country, and I think that'll continue for some time. There also the affordability. They say at this particular stage, Victoria and WA are the two most affordable states, and that seems to be a continual feedback. So well done to WA. So that may help with the influx of people coming in, but again, we still need stock to be able to do that. I would think in coming in probably the first 3 to 6 months of 2022, we'll probably see more homes being completed or projects being completed. I imagine there's still quite a few that are outstanding. Hopefully the builders have a fair bit getting finished in that period, and that may help our marketplace for the buyers out there. Now overall, we're still seeing plenty of positive feedback. Interest rates, as we know, still is one of the biggest catalysts of all time in terms of the lowness of that. Going into 2022, I would be reviewing, if you haven't, review your interest rates. Some of the banks have been starting to adjust their long-term interest rates, so it might be a time to lock in for a few people. You feel that you're not going to move in the next 3 to 5 years. Check out what your interest rate is. See if you can, if it's at a rate that you think. Sometimes you can lock in 50% of your loan, and the other just leave it on a variable. It's up to you. It's not a bad strategy. Then you've got best of both worlds. One of the main reasons I say to people is fixing of interest rates is that you know what your cash flow will be tomorrow. With the variable rates, currently they're pretty low, we all know that, but if there is a shift in the rates in the future, it does affect your net cash flow. Where if you've got fixed rates, you know where you're going in terms of rates. But there are some fantastic rates still out there at the moment. But overall, market's going really, really well. And I think we'll still see some activity in the last 2 weeks of December. But overall, I think Christmas is starting to kick in a little bit, and there'll be probably a few distractions. I imagine there'll be a few less home opens in the next couple of weeks. But I still think the inquiry will continue, and it is. And just going back to what I was saying earlier, probably Midland is probably the highest amount of interest overall in the last 2 months they've probably seen than we've had in 10 years. So for the people who are in and around Midland, this is probably the most activity we have seen for quite a period of time. And now we are seeing small shifts in values, which is good, heading in all the right directions. A little bit slower than some of the other markets, but overall, Midland inquiry is the highest level I have seen for at least 10 years, possibly more, and that's an encouraging sign for 2022. Anyway, if you want to know anything more about real estate, welcome to the team. Ring at any time. All the best to everybody for the weekend, and look forward to speaking to you next week.